quick video about the Finals. It's been out for a while now, found a decent audience. With their latest 5v5 mode, Powershift, they really have a diamond on their hands. So how does it compare with the other normal modes? And if you've already tried the Finals and it didn't hook you, is this new Powershift mode reason to reinstall again? I'm LCTR, I've been playing FPS games since they've really been FPS games, so if you like this sort of video then please do tap the subscribe button below and ring that bell. So the Finals core existing modes are interesting in their makeup. They tend to be for teams of 3, but then also have multiple teams. So their cash out mode is 3v3v3, and other modes go up to 4 teams of 3. For me at least, one of the experiences that those existing game modes produced is that BR-like feeling of other teams third-partying you during a fight, or feeling like you need to keep checking behind you for other enemies. That tended to blunt my enthusiasm to play more. To put it another way, I don't particularly like deathmatch servers in CS. Spawning people behind me is just anxiety-inducing. And in Battlefield, I prefer rush mode to conquest. I enjoy defined structural front lines where I'm expecting enemies to be. And the Finals chose not to have that single focus objective game mode structure, well, until now. I know some of you have been subscribing to my channel since the Dirty Bomb days, and if you are one of those people, then please do shout out in the comments. I love that you're still around. So I really want to say that this is like a modern imagining of that escort mode, but in truth, it arguably plays a bit more like Overwatch's push mode or TF2 in there as well. In Powershift, there is a central platform. When it's controlled by a team, it moves along a preset path in a set direction until it reaches the end winning area. The opposition is trying to take back control of the platform and drive it backwards to their own endpoint. It's a simple setup that, to me, brings so much enjoyment to playing the Finals. The previous mode's localized fights with separate objectives of the cash-out mode is replaced with an ever-progressing battle over a moving, rideable, defendable focus. There's plenty of time in a match for a real tug-of-war back and forth, with teams getting wiped and then regrouping to attack again. There's strategies over how to defend. How many people do you want at the platform? 3 means max movement speed, or where you want to initiate an attack, as perhaps the platform passes a near-accessible roof. There tends to be a nice ebb and flow to the experience too. The 5v5 collisions are as intense as you might imagine, but there also tends to be calmer moments where teams are regrouping. It's not the all-out mayhem that something like a TDM mode might feel like. It's also the Finals, so groundbreaking destruction that people love is here again, but with a new look. That platform often takes routes along the ground, in the air, and through buildings. There are moments when I just had to stand back and marvel at all the mayhem, spectacle, and laughs that this creates. The gameplay feels more open as a result of this new mode too. The longer sightlines of fighting outside the buildings means that there's real value in having people attempting to control the territory near the platform. A sniper with a good vantage position feels like it has a lot of value in Powershift, as players tend to not be hunkered down in rooms. There are other benefits to the 5-player teams as well. I feel like there's more option to run non-meta builds, as there's less reliance on you providing a third of the damage that your team needs. If you want to play a little memey, flamethrowery, heavy build with shields, then that lack of reach that you felt in the other modes is paid back in Powershift, with the knowledge that if you sit on the platform, people have to push you off. There are improvements to the Powershift mode that I'd like to see, of course. More maps would be one of them, but even variations of the path that the platform takes on existing maps would be great too. That would dramatically change how long it takes to get map fatigue. I think we see some variation currently, but not the huge changes that you could imagine really, changing how a map plays out. They already have visual changes in the maps with time of day and weather variations, so route variations will be a superb addition to that, and I'm going to guess here, shouldn't require a massive dev time to implement. Perhaps even different platform shape, with some more defendable than others, might be a nice mix in there too. There are also improvements to the Finals base game that I'd like to see, but many of those have existed since I checked it out in beta. Things like the weapon setup still feels a little thin, with no real customization on how they operate, particularly with regards to weapon sights. Take the medium class for example. The AK and FAMAS only have iron sights, while the SCAR equivalent has an overly chunky hollow sight. There's no options to change this or anything else about the weapons. There's no front grips, barrel attachments, and so on. The heavy class has 2 main machine guns, neither of which has a red dot or hollow. They both have iron sights, so often I feel like I'm fighting to see what's happening as much as I'm fighting the recoil of the weapon. The lack of options in the weapon customization does feel a little lacking, and adding more weapons would give the gunplay some more depth. I'd really like the option to be able to build a weapon more focused on hip-fire accuracy and effectiveness over ADS, but the current system just doesn't allow that. Honestly though, it doesn't spoil the experience. The new 5v5 Powershift mode pushes those other annoyances into the background. I am interested to know other people's feelings about this though. Would you want the devs to add weapon attachments to the game? Maybe just sight options? Or do you like the way it is currently? Let me know in the comment section below. The rest of the game is the Finals. That is, superb engine. Good core design, gunplay and feedback, impressive visuals, good audio, and some music that has no right to be this catchy. Probably should have also mentioned that this is of course a free-to-play game with monetization through cosmetics only. There's the usual store and battle pass. It's not overly pushy, and there's even a bunch of options to unlock just through playing alone. All this combines into a game that's really had my attention since the new mode was added. I've been coming back to the Finals over and over. This new Powershift mode widens the appeal of the game massively for me in a way that, if I'm honest, I didn't expect. So the big question: is it worth reinstalling if you tried the Finals before? One word: absolutely. I was one of those people. I tried the 3v3v3 modes, and they really just didn't click with me. I know a lot of people love them, that's cool, it's just not to my taste. No problems, it's just a preference thing. But this Powershift mode really has me enjoy the game to a level that I didn't before. Selfishly, I would have loved if this was the game's main mode, the one it pushed at launch, but I know that multi-3-player team modes are popular for a reason. I can't help perhaps thinking that this 5v5 mode could even be the mode that people want to make into a competitive esports option or something though. It's easier for spectators to follow, and teams of 5 are very common for comp teams, but yeah, I know, I'm getting ahead of myself here. This mode breathes new life into a game that always looked like a fun time, but at launch just wasn't for me. It isn't perfect, what game is, but I hope that the mode itself gets more support and content to really see it bloom. I can honestly say that I'm hyped for the Finals in a way that I really wasn't before. So kudos to the devs for continuing to expand the options available in their game and widen its appeal over hunkering down on a single main game mode. So what do you think of the Finals? Are you a fan of the other modes? Are you a old dirty bomb player who's looking for more of that cart pushing action again? Let me know all your powerful thoughts and feelings by leaving a comment below right now. Like always, I'll be reading every single one of them. If you did enjoy this video, please do tap the thumb up button and that subscribe button. It really helps support the channel and lets you know when the next video is ready. Thank you all for watching. I'll see you next time. Take care.